Hey there, in this video I'd like to discuss the Aqualibrium competition and just share some of my overall results that I found to improve the reliability of this competition. After repeated testing on models such as this one that complies with all the regulations of the competition, what was found was that the reliability in between runs was actually quite low. What I mean by reliability is that a given model can have a combined penalty score of, let's say, 100 for one run, and in the following runs it can go as low as 50 or as high as 300, 400. The point being that there's no predictability in between each run, and obviously this is an issue that we have to solve. So as you can see in these results, two main models were run, a combined total of 5 times each, and the variation in between each run was obviously pretty high. Different things were used to try and improve the overall reliability. The main issue I found with this whole reliability problem was actually the U-bend that you see right here at the outflow. The main problem behind this is that it collects quite a lot of air bubbles right around this region that alter the flow rate depending on how many bubbles there are. The best solution I found to this was actually just simply cutting it in half, as you see right here, and placing it like it used to be. Obviously doing this for all 3 outflow pipes. This will obviously give a way better result in terms of variability, as it will ensure that the water stays flush with the edge right here. From testing, we can see the same models that I showed prior and drastically improved in terms of reliability with the addition of this cutoff end at the outflows. An additional 5 trial runs were done on Model 1 and Model 2. And in Model 1, the standard deviation decreased from 121 to a standard deviation of 5. This is obviously a great improvement, and you can see by the results here. In terms of Model 2, the standard deviation went from 28 with no modifications to 5 with the cutoff end. This is an easy solution to do. It doesn't change the time in between runs, so with no modification it would usually take around 45 seconds to complete a whole run, and for the modification it would be around 50 seconds. In addition to this modification, here are a few additional steps that you can implement to your Aqualibrium model to further improve the variability. Another improvement that you can make is to ensure that the water reservoir height that you decide on stays the same throughout. What I mean by this is that if you decide to go with 5 liters like I did, or 4 liters or 3 liters, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is that you start off with 5 for every single run, so that the flow rate coming out of the system into the system is the same. This will actually eliminate any of the variability that may come from this. My final recommendation to improve the overall variability within the Aqualibrium competition is to ensure that a pipe is fitted at the right length within a joint. I found that 15 millimeters within the joint is the perfect size, whether it be a 3-way junction, a 4-way junction, or a 2-way junction. It's important to ensure that the pipe is fitted right into the limit to ensure that the variability in pipe diameters does not change too greatly. So it doesn't go from a thin pipe to the junction diameter and then to like a overall bigger pipe diameter, like you would see here. The best way to do this is just to simply place it as normal, but just until you feel like it slip into place, because there's a little notch within each junction. I'll just let you know when to stop. Just be mindful of not pushing it too far in. Now I'd like to discuss how to best remove air bubbles from your system during setup for a faster setup time and for an overall more reliable system. After testing multiple different air bubble removal techniques, I ultimately found that the best and most practical method in a competition setting is to cover different outflows at different times to further increase the flow rate around the system and subsequently remove air bubbles around it. I'll be using the system as an example to further illustrate my method. As you can see on the figure, all the outflows have been labeled from A to C, with the closest outflow to the reservoir being labeled A and the furthest away being C. So first I'll open up the reservoir, like usual. I'll let flow run through, but I'll actually place my finger on outflow A, and as you can see in outflow B and C, it starts running faster, so that the air bubbles will be removed faster. I'll do this for 5 seconds or until I see the air bubbles around both of those two reservoirs be removed. Move my finger from point A and move all the way to point B. This will ensure that water actually runs through point A so that all the air bubbles that are remaining in that region get removed. I'll do this again for 5 seconds or until I see all the air bubbles be removed from this region. As you can see, all the air bubbles have been removed from all the pipes around the network. Overall, I found this to be the best method for removing air bubbles around the system, in terms of the ease of implementation, the repeatability, and the overall speed of the removal. Just to wrap things up, I hope that you can take some of the recommendations I've given within this video and apply them to your own Aqualibrium competition. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time to listen to my video.